if you hook in Kiaya, he's in a good spot to press his Splicing Maelstrom. If he builds a Zhonya's even better. If Levi gets pulled in, he gets to a Cyclone. If Xin gets pulled in, it's Leona. She doesn't care. If you pull in Cardi, well, Sombrero can do a lot of work for the rest of the team to dive in back up Oriana. So you kind of get jinxed, or you're doing yourself dirty. I feel as Sora here. So not loving this pick this time.
Yeah. And I was a bit of a memer when I was talking about Aurelion Sol. I did want to see it, and I still do think it's good against Sejuani and Veigar and a couple of those champions because it's got the range and it's got the abilities to deal with it. But there are ways to contest that champion in a lot of fashion. And Kadi also plays a mean Oriana, so I'm not upset about this in any capacity whatsoever. If anything, I'm actually on a bit of a Voshaden play here as well for Team Flash because, again, I feel like for melee, you're not going to have Yone in a great position. You're not going to have a bunch of damage out of Veigar until like fourth item territory. So I would have almost preferred they try to make some kind of contestation against this top lane because Yashino playing on tanks in this series hasn't been terrible, but it also has not like won them anything. It hasn't done them any favors. I would have preferred to see something come out here, as it feels like Xin and Sora passed like ships in the night to go fighting for other ADCs. Ended up with Xin taking a bit of damage, but getting control of the wave here for style.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit strange because when you consider that Flash, Flash does not really play tanks in the top lane. That has not been their style at all.
No.
They've played mostly Fiora and Renekton, and pretty much everything else has been split pushes, save one Cyan game before today. So it's just it's not their style, it's not what they're used to. They're trying it out today, and it's been okay. Yoshino has definitely not looked bad at all, but
no,
it's really just not quite what the team is used to. And,
okay. Big play on to put an exhaust drop immediately to make sure that Sora is able to kind of deny a little bit. And that W from Xin actually denies a really good amount of damage to make sure that's not going to come down. Props. I said W. What I meant was Glacial. I don't know why I said W right there. It denied a good amount of the damage. As it was a good trade coming out. As Putin has been punished more or less by this GAM bottom lane consistently.
I mean, the Eclipse does deny a lot of damage, and you've just sort of seen with both of these Veigar lanes, there is very little threat coming out from it. So you've just seen Cult starts up against it, and that was close. That could have been something. I mean, it might have been a bit hard to cut through Zen, but Sora keeping them on their toes.
Absolutely. The one combination that they do have going for them is like in this mid jungle combo between Jane and between Fukwon, they've got a good amount of CC and they've got a good amount of early game damage to fight with against Levi's Wukong if they really wanted to. And I was anticipating something as a dive on bottom side. Style's kind of low. They have to be a bit careful here. So that's going to be an event horizon kind of being thrown down around the turret. Sora's going to be able to get something. Style excited. He's able to get that to the other side of the fight, but it's going to be a kill just traded over to Veigar. It is first blood. I mean, they do get first blood. That's a flash from Levi. That's a fumbled play from GAM. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. Yes, they get first blood. Yes, they get it on the Jinx. I don't know that was worth.
Yeah, Style just simply too low. The one tower shot was that was kind of all the damage he took.
Yes.
in that play, just the tower shot. But because putting an attack him
autoed
earlier,
him is what happened.
Yeah, putting an attack him earlier and slash maybe an auto, and that's enough to get the kill over. And then you actually Styles. It sort of ends up even in the bot lanes because Putin gets the kill, and he gets some more time for free with the wave, gets some experience, and Style gets their first blood bonus. But it's not the worst, but just Style is too damn low. He gets the kill, he tries to leave, but because everyone else left first, he just gets the aggro and taken down. And I guess your benefit is you did get the teleport out, so Kadi got some free time.
You do, and that's beneficial. Again, Kadi on the Oriana is probably one of the best champions that he's got consistently over the seasons in the arsenal. Again, going back, he was a control mage player, so it makes a lot of sense that that's the case. But I found it strange because it was like, okay, Jane TP'd. Somehow Levi just has this enormous ability to just call that when, despite having a 300 health ADC, and they do get a kill. So I'll give them a bit of vote of confidence just for the fact that they knew to some extent that was going to work out, because it was very, very touch and go there for a minute. But honestly, again, the flash traded for the Wukong, not going to be super impactful before the Cyclone comes up, about half cooldown, so not going to be insane quite yet. Early enough in the game that it doesn't matter that much. And again, the first blood onto Jinx is a pretty big deal, so you'll take that win if you're the side of GAM.
Yeah, it gets you the pickaxe, it gets you a bit more pressure, and with that, they do feel confident starting this dragon. They currently have the prio in mid as well, but that's not going to amount to much because there's a bit of a force onto Jane.
There is. Stuck inside the vent horizon is everybody else on this side is Style. I'm not liking that in the slightest. Jane comes dashing in. He's able to actually find a really, really solid angle. Is very low, but he's probably going to die to Kati here. Okay, yep, yeah. Dies to Kati. And that's going to be a pretty big fight win here. It's just a 1-for-1, but again, the dragon is still available. A lot of members low on health. 2 members had it back here from the side of Flash, and that means that Levi and Style will be able to pick up this objective. Yeah,
grabbing supports traded, and then Jane he can get in, he can get the kill, but he can't get back out again. As it's a nice engage from Xin. He's able to tank so much damage, and even through the exhaust falling onto Levi, kind of just doesn't help there. And Jane commits everything. He has to use the flash to actually finish off Xin, and this is okay.
Fight on the opposite side. They are trying to stop the dragon, and they are going to be able to pull Kati in, which is a decent kill. So, I mean, it is the dragon for the side of GAM. It is another kill going to the side of Team Flash. They get something back. They end up equalizing, I think, the kill count after all things are said and done. Style is still loaded with gold at the moment. I think Fook1 really wants to punish them for staying here if they're going to decide to push out this wave just a little bit, as that is Sora, who is just walking through Xin right now. That was a lot of health unnecessarily traded right there. And now Levi with the Cyclone as well is going to be here to contest to make sure that Fook1 is not able to make any sort of aggressive movements. Again, is it another massive play where Style is on basically like a third of the health bar? Because Jane is here, ready for the dive, doesn't have the ultimate, but the wave is crashing. See if anything else can come through. Sora getting a hook is a big one. That's a nice hook! What an absolute laser from Sora to be able to find Jinx right there. Oh my goodness.
I want to talk about absolutely fantastic, but that was a full map play essentially from the side of Team Flash. Kati teleported to lane, so Jane went down to match, and we saw in the top lane you could see Kiaya back away so he could try and reset and teleport in if necessary. If you just look at the minimap, he's trying to back, and then Yoshino will ult on top of him, force a flash, and I mean, in the end, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. The hook was too good, but wanted to stop the ability for Kiaya to try and impact that play in any way.
Yeah, one of the biggest issues with this is that right now, even though Team Flash now has a kill, now has a couple played off the bottom side, and you've got gold inside your Jinx, this Yone is getting wrecked. Right now, 80 CS, it's 9 CS per minute right now at the beginning of the game. It's actually closer to 10, given that you start farming at a minute and a half here for Kati. So the Orianna is feeling great in this game, and you have done nothing about it. Jane is just getting absolutely bullied. Well, look at that. They're doing something about it. They jump onto him from that Raptor pit, and that means that Jane is going to walk away with another kill. Caster curse again. My bad, mid laners. I've been doing it to both you all series, but look at that. Team Flash finding ways to fight back, finding ways to slow down the pace of the game. You think you have an advantage in mid? Nope. Hey, that's Jane going to recover nicely from that.
Yep, that's going to be traded essentially for the Rift Herald, unless Levi can actually really find that use for it and trade the plates, that is going to be just a really nice pickup, and has the opportunity as will get out, as it looks like Levi was going to try and stop him. Oh, sorry, not Yoshino, Sora. Now the Rift Herald's going to be dropped on top of Yoshino.
Okay.
He has no ult.
The Cyclone, he doesn't have the ultimate. It just gets chain CC'd to death. I mean, there's not much to be said there. Super Mega Death Rocket from point blank does all the damage necessary to be able to bring that down. His Styles going to be able to pick up that kill. Fook1 lands the W on his Styles. A little worried there for a second, but there's no real damage here. Nice hook, Sora underneath the tower goes Xin. Is he going to take another tower shot? That's going to be a dead Xin! You're able to get another one. 1-for-1 trade.
These are magnets coming out from Sora. He's got the Moby boots. He wants to be everywhere. He's got another crystal. He's got a sapphire crystal. So these hooks are going to get even more potent.
I don't think I've ever had a champion that Sora I've associated with to like be there. Maybe the Blitzcrank is his champion, right? Like you think about the best supports and you think about what champions they're kind of defined on. You think about Alistar's, you think about Nautilus's, you think about Threshes for a lot of the kind of better members. I don't think Sora's ever been good enough for us to give it to him. I think Blitzcrank's his champion. Blitzcrank, these hooks have been nasty over the last couple of games.
Yeah, they've been coming out pretty quick and fast. If he picks up this game, if he gets the 2-0 on Blitzcrank over GAM, yeah, that's it. Sora will be the Blitzcrank champion of the VCS. That's all we can say.
Yeah, 100% kill participation, like you said with the Moby Boots, wanting to be active around the map, and again, just being a thorn in the side of GAM in general, because they've got a bunch of damage dealers, but picking people, preventing these plays from going as far as they want to. Again, this top tower, without a Blitzcrank hook, I wouldn't have been shocked if top tower would have fallen right there, or at least another plate would have gone over, would have expanded this gold lead past the 300 it currently sits at for GAM, which, given the way GAM's been playing, you would think it'd be a lot higher, given that, like, style is feeling great in this one. Would have been a lot higher. Hex Flash, gonna try to find Xin, maybe? No?
Yeah, maybe. Currently, just kind of want to just keep the pressure off for Jane, because Xin and Cardi could have found, like, if Xin goes in with the ball on top of his head, shockwave, etc., maybe Jane falls there, but want to keep the pressure on.
Oh.
Veigar is slowly putting together enough to push back the wave and contend, but it still feels like he will be second fiddle to Jinx in these fights around the dragon. So I think this one you can give to GAM, or you can...
Oh, okay. Attempted hook coming through from Sora. Doesn't actually hit it. I think it was a Hex Flash that came through right there that it was not able to grab. That would have been a massive play right before the dragon spawns, as GAM already has the first one. This should get them their second of the game. And no map play to come through from Flash in response. Maybe a push bot wave, maybe a dive top wave. It looks like Kiaya's already ready for that, though. He was backing. Yeah, you've got a little bit of action around the top side of the map, but so far, Yoshino and Fuquan have not been able to link up. That's a big hook over top the wall, but it's not going to matter because Levi's here for a little bit of defense. Stunned up is Xin, and half health as well. Puddin is going to be here to ensure that no more shenanigans occurs between anybody.
Yeah, a little bit unlucky for Puddin. Couldn't quite get the distance on the cage to follow up on that, but it does turn out to be enough to block Zin's re-engage. Kiaya once again going for this void, this Riftmaker on the cannon, despite the change in summoners. So maybe this time we're going to see the Cosmic Drive and more for that big AoE damage. And
yeah, in this game, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just a little bit confused. I do feel like the Protobelt would have just been better given the composition you're up against and such, but I guess the constant poke from Yoshino's Qs, I can somewhat understand the want for sustain.
Just a bit. That's like part of the reason I think the area wasn't a terrible choice here today, but a bigger one specifically. You think about the tank that they've got now, because like Yoshino's going into tank, you've got Sejuani going into tank, you're going to have a really bulky Veigar, you're going to have a pretty bulky Sora coming through as well. I don't think it's unreasonable that you go for a lot more sustained damage on this cannon, just because it's not possible to be able to burst out every one of these members unless you were really, really far ahead. Somehow we were out of camera to watch Xin just go flying in. It's pulled back in by Sora, not going to matter, putting over the wall. Oh, on the other side of the map, there's another kill, but that's going to be a big pick-off for Kiaya, or Kadi, my apologies, to be able to find that. As I don't know what happened with Yoshino and Kiaya on the other side of the map, but Yoshino was able to solo kill the cannon in the midst of all that, as Xin off-map was able to kind of find enough of an engagement that Kadi was able to find one. Hey, we got a replay. Look at that.
Okay, just pushed a bit too far up onto the tower. Yoshino has a lot of damage being Malphite at this point in the game. And yeah, Kiaya just can't get away, and the just rundown is pretty simple. He's a squishy rat, and at this stage of the game, Yoshino can absolutely run you down. There's a teleport up from Kati, gonna try and punish, but no shockwave. Oh, there is a monkey though.
Okay, TP for the defense. Cyclone underneath the tower. Yoshino! Oh, I thought Yoshino was gonna get out. Now Sora also gonna be able to get the hook. Jade misses the ultimate and has the E as well, so they're going to be out of position. Now Kadi is running for his life, going to try to use the Hex Tech 8, is going to get the Hex Tech 8, and is going to get out of dodge. GAM, they played it perfectly. They somehow get out of that situation unscathed. It feels like they should have been punished so much harder, but they are not. And now Flash left just kind of sitting with the remnants of a play at their feet.
Sora pulling Cardi out of the Fade Unsealed. Oh, gosh. And now they're going to lapse onto Sora. That hook's going to miss.
Yep.
There's a reset.
Style decided to auto not Zin right there and ended up costing himself a kill because that would have been another one into the pocket of Jinx. And Riftfield now is theirs. I mean, there's nothing else to say. Fuq1 had to flash, didn't have the health, has to go away, has to be anywhere else. Now Style's going to be here to be able to throw some damage into this big objective. Bottom side of the map, it looks like Kennen was able to actually grab up a tower as well. Like, out of nowhere, it seems like GAM, just the game is broken in their favor. I know the first game that we had in the day, they never really had over a 2,000, 3,000 gold lead the entire game, but they held it the entire game. But that felt like a little bit of a breaking in the control that Flash has had to slow things down. Yeah,
like a lot of the time it's felt like a lot of what GAM was doing in that first game, it was we found the picks onto Yoshino early, but Yoshino's a Scion, he can tank that. But the objective control was sort of split. Flash was finding some early ones. Then when GAM had a lead, there was drinks that could be given up. You could give up those Chemtech drinks without really a concern and just buy that time for gold, because Chemtech drinks are useless, honestly. They're pretty bad. So if you have 3 Chemtech drinks, it's given over to the enemy team, it's fine. It's whatever. And this time around, GAM has actually been the ones in charge of the objectives. And despite Flash being able to find good kill leads and good skirmishes, they weren't able to get a gold lead because there was just farm differences in mid and top lane, even in bot lane as well. And then you didn't have objective control to sort of balance that out. You can't bring it together for these fights. And sure, your comp scales. There's no joke in the Yone and Veigar late game, but everything misses. Oof.
Yeah, everything misses, thankfully. GAM, with that Rift Herald, able to push up effectively. Yash had an angle right there. No one was able to respond. I feel like he could have 5-man ulted right there with absolutely no qualms whatsoever. But again, it was the follow-up that was really, really questionable. That's massive! They don't find any response. Also, again, nobody follows it! There's a lot of damage dropped off to the other side. The Orion ultimate got quite a bit done. Now Kiaya, in the midst of everything, kind of goes down. Styles trying to find a way through everybody, but Yone's able to push it back as the E pulls Jane away from the threat of anybody else. Now right into the living arms of Zin and Levi, who are going to bring him down. There were so many good ultimates right there from Flash, but they just cannot make it stick. They do not have enough to make it work, and they lose out the fight in the Dragon again.
It was a huge attempt from Yoshino, but they can't put it together. Now the gold lead is up to about 4k, 5k. They got to pick up the soul point and some more gold on the map. It's just, that's it. I think that kind of ends the game there. We see Yoshino. He finds the angle. He wants to go in, but Levi just cuts off the rest of the follow-up, and then Jane just misses everything. He can't. He's just short of getting onto Style. And he does a fair amount of damage with just his autos and the soul unbound, but the fight's lost. He goes back to his soul and he's killed.
If you go back to the very beginning of that replay, Jane actually was walking up towards mid lane when the rest of the team was sitting there ready to fight in river. I don't know if somebody's calling for mid push. I don't know if Jane is leaving for mid push. I don't know. That's the second time during the series that the rest of the team is ready to fight. The rest of the team is running as a unit somewhere, and Jane is just gone elsewhere. Because it happened in game 1, if you remember, the Ahri had backed, and then they had to come back into the fight after basically Putin was taken out, after the Feelers died for the one time he died during the entire game. That right there, again, it feels like if an E and an ultimate are dropped by Jane to get onto all of the targets that hit by Yoshino, they just win the fight. They just win it right then and right there. You set up Pudding for extra damage and everything else. Team Flash is one call away from winning this game, from winning at least that fight and really putting themselves in a good position as Kiaya pops the ultimate to try to get away. Now Fuq1 is going to get killed on the way out.
Yeah, they couldn't push the wave fast enough. They couldn't get in position to find that dive. And GAM's collapse is just on point. Now they've taken out the jungler. Baron's on the table. They have a lot of damage between Kiaya and Style and even Cardi. This could just be the Baron. They might start it up. They might try and bait the fight. It's There's no Yoshino ult either?
No.
This is just... Okay, that might cancel it.
That I really liked quite a bit. Levi does get pulled in, but he has got more than enough damage to deal with Yoshino and Sora on the other side. That's going to be very easy for Style to clean up as Jane is stuck in a weird position. Puddin's going to get done down as well, as there's nothing much for this Vygar to be able to do. It took like 5 minutes of time. It feels like at 15 minutes, this game was basically either way could have easily gone. And now it's so easy for GAM to walk this one in. 6,000 gold advantage, 3 dragons, Baron buff now readily available. Yoshino doesn't have ultimate, does have flash, but not going to matter. Now you have Fook 1 back. You're going to have to steal it if you want a chance of anything. Yoshino did get a solid wraparound, but again, the ultimate's not there. The flash is what's there, so it doesn't really matter. Kiai is going to get pulled away at least a little bit. Fook 1's got to find a way into this pit. Oh, that's a great grab to be able to grab at least Zin out of the pit. There's no way to deny Fook 1 kind of entrance now if you really wanted it to. Flash to get away from Kiai. That is disastrous. I feel like, that's terrible. That's GAM just, I think, winning the game more or less. They're up at 8,000 gold. They're going to break another tower. Like, they just took the game right there.
Yeah, but Baron in pocket, that's so much more extra gold because they just won that fight. They went straight back into it, into the Baron. That's now 3 big ticket items picked up for the side of GAM. Seraphs, a lot of Dominic's regards, and a Void Staff. This is kind of it. Yeah, they're just so far ahead of... It feels like they're so far ahead of Flash right now, and the cooldowns aren't synced up from them. They can't sort of put together these fights that they want, the wombo they need. And now it's just GAM constantly calling the shots. Jane will probably die here.
Very much so.
He has to go back at some point. He's not going to get him out
anywhere. Yeah, he's just going to die instead. And again, this is the upsetting thing about Flash, because Flash pulls out a series like this against GAM, our #1 team, and people will look at this and be like, oh, wow, it's really nice that they took a game. No. Like, Flash has had ways to win this series. Flash has had more than enough opportunities to be able to bring themselves back into this game. And it feels like they're right there. Like, they're so close to being a team that should be competitive at the top of the standings. It's just little mistakes here and there that a rookie team is taking. We know Flash is an experienced organization. They're a few years out from having taken a championship, as Levi getting run down by 2 big tanks and actually kind of winning this fight. Levi won. Double ultimates, double tanks. Does not matter. Levi's too strong for them to actually deal with. Now going to run at Fook 1 and see if he actually gets something. He's going to be able to jump onto him. Don't know if he's going to be able to clear the wall. We'll have the clone back soon enough here. Sora is just going to get... Oh my goodness. Wrecked. There's no other word for it. Wrecked by the combination of those 3. And now a flash forced out from Puddin as Kadi was trying to find him right there. Nice rocket from Style. Picked up a big kill. And again, the game is disastrous. The game is lost. Team Flash, there's no way back in.
Yeah, you kind of said it. This is a rookie team. It's an experienced organization, but Yoshino's the only one who's played more than one split. Fook and Sora have played 1. This is their second. Jane and Puddin have subbed in and out a couple times, but they've never played a full split, and this is just disastrous. Yoshino's not strong enough to really fight. They do a lot of damage, but between those more activation and Yosh, and
what is that all?
That from Yoshino was I was gonna
Levi was invisible.
I made
so
my noise.
I'll give him an ounce of slack, but like it's so rough. And then this is what we missed on the other side. Zin was able to TP in and actually able to find a kill against Fook 1, as well as that top side play going so disastrously as everybody went down except for Puddin, who had to flash. Now 13k gold. Now Mountain Soul is going to be available. 2 inhibitors down. They're pushing on bottom side. Game's going to be over. Again, it felt like Flash had a way to win this, and it's really unfortunate that they weren't able to capitalize on it. We're waiting for them to clean up those last few mistakes. Maybe, again, I'm hoping that they're not relegated, that there's no chance of relegation here, because I think that this team has a lot of potential growth. They've got really good players, and they're kind of showing up in spades in their first real split of action as like a cohesive unit. And so I'm excited to see what they're able to build on, because I feel like this team is one bit of development, just a little bit of kind of progress away from turning into a team that's going to be competitive in the middle or top of the table. It's just right now, haven't been able to put it together this split into the bits of everything. Zonia's for Zin, as Yoshino is just going to get brought down by all the remaining, but nearly goes down. It's not his ticking, but he's going to get back into his own fountain. So it's going to be nothing crazy. You're going to have to mount a defense around these towers. There's no Baron buff, but there's 2 massive waves coming in. Style is still untouchable at the moment.
Technically 4v5.
Okay, we'll see whether or not there's anything to do. Nexus Tower is going to go down to just the rockets of Style. Style continues to just laser everybody with an unrealistic amount of damage. Now, another wave crashing Siege Minion
You
gonna
have
be
to
here.
go.
Yeah, they're gonna miss.
Oh!
Yashino's not gonna be able to land the engagement. Well played from Style. He's gonna be able to flash out the opposite side. They're gonna drag one, but that's a lot of damage into the midst of everything. That's a big play from Jane to maybe try to find Style. Zony's gonna be able to buy him a bit of space. But now there's no way for Jane and Pudding to live the rest of this. There's 4 members here from GAM. What are you supposed to do? Style can just focus on the tower. Not gonna matter. Levi's gonna clean up everything else, and that is going to be the game almost certainly. Jane's got nothing left. No flash, no ultimate, no hopes. And despite Team Flash taking us to a 55-minute Game 1 victory against GAM and getting our hopes up, it is GAM with 2 sub-26-minute victories in a row to rout Team Flash in the reverse sweep.
Happy birthday, Honke.